Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for clicking on this Rank the Movies video. I'm still talking family films here on the channel. I got two more of them. Last week we talked Lion King. We talked a Goofy movie. We talked Disney. This week I am switching gears, and I'm going to do two different studios. Actually, one of them is more of an actual animation director, and I didn't think to pair him with another one of his movies. I'm not even 100% sure. I own another movie that this one's made, although I know he's done them, and there's some good animated films out there. This is just one I really love, and a Dreamworks film, because, Dreamworks is going to be fun. We can like Dreamworks. We can all like Dreamworks. So I'll start with the film that is mainly by the creator, and that's Don Bluth. Don Bluth is most famous for doing All Dogs Go to Heaven. It's a great movie with Burt Reynolds, and yeah, it's a fun movie. I've watched that one as an adult, and for me, it doesn't have the same staying power. I loved it as a kid. I'm just not as big of a fan of All Dogs Go to Heaven now as an adult. But one that I'm still kind of like, I can't believe I still like this movie. To the fact that, again, I have a Blu-ray copy of it, and that is Rock A Doodle. Rock A Doodle is a Don Bluth film. It's towards the end of Don Bluth. He's already done Old Dogs Go to Heaven. He's done The Secret of Nim. He's getting on to like the Troll in Central Park. Is where we are with Don Bluth films when we get to Rock A Doodle. But I love Rock A Doodle. It is such a fun movie. It's such a ridiculous movie. Alright, so, you have this little kid who lives on a farm, and his parents read him a bedtime story about Charlemagne. Charlemagne is a rooster who crows every morning to bring the sun. And that is how, every animal on the barnyard, who are all anthropomorphic animals, believe the sun rises, is by Charlemagne's rooster crow. One day, an evil owl, I can't remember the evil owl's name, I feel like I should know the evil owl's name. The Grand Duke of Owls. I knew it was something cool. I knew it was actually a cool name. The Grand Duke of Owls loves the dark because he's an owl, and owls love the dark. And so one day he sends one of his thugs to go kick Charlemagne's butt. The real purpose of it isn't to actually hurt Charlemagne or do anything else. It is to prove a fact that the sun will rise even if Charlemagne doesn't crow. And that's what happens. The sun, Charlemagne doesn't crow, the sun still rises, and all of the barnyard animals are left in disbelief because what they believe to be true, Charlemagne crows, therefore the sun rises, is they gloat a false hooey that Charlemagne's crow has nothing to do with the sun rising. This leads Charlemagne to slink off and leave the farm forever. But now that the mighty rooster is gone, the Grand Duke of Owls can run roughshod over the farm and bring darkness at all times. As this is going on, as the story is being told to the little child, it is actually like a hurricane outside. It is raining, it is a huge storm, and a bunch of people go out to secure stuff, and actually part of the roof comes in on the kid. And all of a sudden the barnyard animals from the story start coming in, as though it is actually the farm the kid lives on. And they, wait, no, that's after. I'm sorry, I missed a step. The Grand Duke of Owls shows up to confront the child. Because the child believes in Charlemagne, and that Charlemagne will come and bring the sun, and that will stop the storm. And the Grand Duke of Owls uses his owl magic, because owls have magic, and turns the child into a mouse, I believe. Oh no, a cat. He turns him into a cat. He turns the child into an animated cat. So he went from live-action child to animated cat. He then tries to eat the animated cat, but he's stopped by the other barnyard characters from the story, who then enter, and a group of them, it's the group you can see on the case, if you can see the case. But yeah, it's this group. You've got the dog who wants to wear. You got a dog who wants to wear shoes but doesn't know how to tie them. But the cat knows how to tie his shoes. You've got a bird who it's voiced by. I can't think of the actor's name, but I know he's like super. Like his voice. You totally know his voice. And then you also have a mouse who's the smart one of the group. They decide to go and rescue Charlemagne. And the Grand Duke of Owls is actually voiced by Christopher Plummer. Now that I'm looking at the back of this box, he is definitely voiced by Christopher Plummer. So it's a great voice acting job on the Grand Duke of Owls. They decide to go and find Charlemagne in the city. The city, it's kind of like animated New York, except everything's anthropomorphic pets. And Charlemagne is working in a club where he's a singer. He's Elvis, basically. Charlemagne has become Elvis in the city. And his friends try to get to him, but his promoter, the Colonel, I think is a giant like rat. I can't remember what the animal type of his promoter. I'm just going to call it the Colonel because he's supposed to be Elvis. The Colonel is actually in league with the Grand Duke of Owls to make sure Charlemagne doesn't leave the city and never goes back to the farm to crow and bring the sunlight. This is such a ridiculous movie, but so much fun. With that, they can't get to see Charlemagne because they keep being stopped by the thugs, and Charlemagne keeps being intertwined by a female chicken. I almost said rooster. I'm like, no, that's the male. She's a girl. She's a chicken. A female chicken voiced by Ellen Greene, who is Audrey in Little Shop of Horrors. So again, a really fun voice performance and a really great singer when she has her songs. Eventually, the group get to her and talk her into letting them see Charlemagne. And as you can figure, Charlemagne eventually goes back to the farm and crows, and the sun rises. But there's a bit where Charlemagne can't remember how to crow. So he has to be coaxed into crowing again, and the Grand Duke of Owl shrinks from disbelief, I think. It's been a while. But I still know this movie pretty well. I love Rock A Doodle. It is a ridiculous film, but it's really fun when you go, man, I just want to watch it. I want to watch a dumb movie. You know, I don't want to spend a ton of time watching a dumb movie, but you know, if I got 74 minutes and I want to watch a dumb animated movie, I'm watching Rock A Doodle. Because it's a good time. It is such a good time. And it's a classic. It's a classic film. Like, you might never have seen it, but check it out. Check out Rock A Doodle. It is a family film worth watching. I'm a 35-year-old adult, and I enjoy watching Rock A Doodle. So, yeah, that's Rock A Doodle. Now to move on to a Dreamworks movie, because I needed to pair this with something, and again, I didn't think to grab another Don Bluth film, but I grabbed Dreamworks Ants, because I really like Ants. It's a really fun movie, and it's actually, I was only going to do one movie each week for this family month, but then I added in Nicolas Cage, Good or Bad, so it bumped one of these, and Antz is the movie it bumped, so that's why Antz got brought back in. And then I just added Goofy movie last week and one of the movies next week, and just made it a two-pack for each week. But yeah, Dreamworks Ants. This is one of Dreamworks' first movies that they released. It's one of the first computer-generated animated films done. And you get the voice work of Christopher Walken, Woody Allen, Dan Aykroyd, Sylvester Stallone, J-Lo. It's got some really good Sharon Stone. I'm pretty sure Sharon Stone is the princess. So you get some great voice actors. Woody Allen voices Z. Z is a worker ant in the colony who is not happy with his place in life, isn't happy just being a worker ant in a colony. He wants more. He wants to be more, but he was assigned to be a worker ant. His best friend is voiced by Sylvester Stallone, who is a soldier ant, meaning he's big, burly, and goes to war. One day they are at a bar and Z meets the princess, who is not allowed to leave her royal area or her guards or anything like that, but does because that's what princesses do in animated films. She escapes her guards and goes to the bar and starts dancing with Z and has a pretty good time because she knows what her future is, and that is becoming the queen with the laying egg sac and doing all that stuff, and she's not sure that's something she wants to do with her life, but it's going to be forced upon her. Z, realizing that she's the princess, wants to see her again, so switches places with his friend in the army so that he can see her again at a formation that's happening the next day. Unfortunately, this formation is for them to go out to war with... I can't remember what they're going to war against. Man. But anyways, they're going off to war, and Danny Glover voices Z's person who's standing next to Z, who's telling him how good war is. The war happens and all the ants die save save Z. Z then eventually returns home as a hero of the war, but it's found out that he's actually a worker ant and not a soldier ant, which starts to pep up the other worker ants who are building a mega tunnel for the colony. Eventually Z is going to be eliminated, but he ends up kidnapping the princess, and they go out into the real world where they find other bugs and run into a pair of mosquitoes voiced by Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin of Saturday Night Live's Weekend Update. Eventually, the ants find where the princess is and take her back, but leave Z, and Z also learns that there's going to be a plan to flood and kill all of the worker ants that the general, who is voiced by Gene Hackman, is planning to do. Z returns to the hive and ends up stopping the general and bringing a new era of prosperity to the ants. It's a fun movie. I've always liked Ants. Everyone always compares it to A Bug's Life, and I like A Bug's Life too, but between the two, I find myself wanting to watch Ants more often than I want to watch A Bug's Life. I think I'm just more interested in Ants than I am in what A Bug's Life offers. And the funny thing is, I actually like Dave Foley as an actor way more than I like Woody Allen. But again, that's not the only aspect that needs to be looked at. And so Antz is the one I honestly lean towards more. I don't even have a copy of A Bug's Life because it's so seldom I want to watch it. Whereas Antz, sometimes it's like, man, I really want to watch Antz. It's not, it's every couple of years, but I really want to watch Antz when that happens, and so, I gotta have a copy of Antz so I can watch Antz. But it's a fun movie. If for some reason you haven't checked this one out, it's early Dreamworks, and the CG animation, it's fine. It's not great. It got better over time, but it's an early CG movie. It's a lot of fun. So check that one out. Check out Rock A Doodle. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you can keep up to date with all the content that will be coming out. Next week, I've got 2 more kiddie films to talk about, family films, to round out this month. I am Martin Prevost. This is Rank the Movies. Have a good one.